Should be live today. Should be live already right now. So today on Quad Therapy, we have myself, Jim here.
And me.
Hello, hello, Jim.
I'm
And then we have a guest, Martin
very
Mueller
special
from
guest.
Germany. Special guest. Thank you, Martin, for joining us. Uh,
Hello from Germany.
so,
Hi.
Martin, for the ones that don't know you, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. Yes, I'm Martin Müller from Germany. What should I say?
The creator of Drift.
Finally,
Yeah, well, look,
finally,
let
I'm
me say, like,
the
if anyone's
adventure.
got our videos, they've seen us driving around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know what the
The
cars
cars
are.
that we're driving, Martin is the creator of those cars. And
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
we wanted them on because they're actually quite special and they're not normal RC cars by a long shot. So we want it from the horse's mouth, as it were, the real deal of what it is and what they're about and why they're so different.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Martin,
So,
we have quite a few questions for you.
I think so.
You're gonna get bombarded with questions. Hopefully, you're okay with that. By the way, thank you so much for taking some time out of your
You're
out of your
welcome.
day to be here with us. And what I wanted to say, what I wanted to start by saying is that you don't have to answer. If you don't want to answer a question, you don't have to answer. You're not forced to anything here. And these are just, at the end of the day, these are just questions. So it's not, some of them are a bit more intrinsic, but again, it's not. They're just questions at the end of the day because it's just us and other people would want to know stuff. So
Very
don't
interesting.
yeah, don't take it any if you don't understand the question or if you think it's wrong, don't take it the wrong way. It's just a question, and
No,
obviously
don't worry.
you don't have to answer a question if you don't want to. I just wanted
No,
to
no problem. So
make that
if you
clear from
guys,
the start.
yeah, if you guys follow what we already do in Germany with our streams and in our
Yeah,
Yeah.
way to communicate with our customers, sure, mostly that is in German right now, but not
yes,
everything. But sure, you guys know we are very open to our customers. So it's
yeah,
Very, very communicative. And
yeah, it
again,
is. It's
so
a,
like you joining our little show to talk
yeah,
about,
yeah. Right.
about
So
what
this is
we're
what
up
we
to.
want to do and how it works today. And for us, to be honest, it's the only way to bring such a different product into the world because we really have to find out. It's a challenge to do something which is so different to things people know.
Yeah,
And the only way to set up this without millions of marketing budget
yeah,
is,
it's local.
to
Here's
be
a
honest and to stay there and to talk about everything and be open and connect directly to the customers. So that's
yeah.
what we do. And we like that and it works.
there's a level
Awesome.
that you need to understand about the cars and how they're
It is.
different from traditional RC
Right.
cars,
Right.
and that bit of communication, that bit of understanding is what is holding us that back a little bit, or we need that to happen so that people can understand why it's so different.
Exactly right. So it's
It's
really a
fascinating.
challenge for us. We didn't realize this at the beginning. So, but we find out last year, the last 2 years, this is really the toughest part of it. To if you do something which is totally new,
Mm.
to bring it to market. So
It's totally new, and so let's talk about how is it new and what it is that's different and special. Like from my angle, what I say to people normally is that we don't use or lose grip. It doesn't work in that fashion. So you've
Yeah,
scaled down an RC car, so you've got even less tire. How are you going to make that do grip? Whereas your cars don't do that at all. There isn't that need for grip in the four traditional wheels
right,
that you've
right.
got in the corners. You've got rid of that completely.
Yeah. So finally, the idea when I create this product or find out this way of products, my vision always was to make products. So I was a product developer before. So before I started the company, Stormkind for these cars,
Yep.
I already did development for RC toys, RC helicopters, drones especially. So things like that. Um, Not only I was also in other areas, but
I
I was a product developer.
I first
Yeah,
saw your aeroplane. That was the first time I ever saw or heard of you, and that was
yeah,
way before the cars even. That was
right.
nothing to do with cars, and
Yeah,
you created a humongous aeroplane, super lightweight, flying indoors. That was like wow, I was mega impressed there. So
right, right.
you've already got a lot of history in product development, but not toys at all. What products were they?
Okay, so I'm what can I say? So I really was in the
You're going a bit cracky
product
there.
I think yeah, we're losing you a bit with your internet is just breaking up a bit.
development.
Your internet's broken a little bit there,
Then I make a
Barney.
cut and I go back to in Germany. I did.
It's all gone.
Yeah, I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me,
now.
Carlo?
No, I could.
Okay,
You're breaking up a little bit.
that was a problem. Yeah, right.
Okay, yeah, I
Okay,
can hear you now.
And
Yeah,
then, it,
we
and
can.
then it's calmed down again. So,
okay. Once again, so
Right on the explanation.
right at the end of it, yeah. So something like you went to school as a design engineer to be a
no,
design
I don't.
engineer.
I
No,
don't.
you
No.
you was you had no that wasn't your path at all.
Right. Yeah. So it happens in my life, you know. So sometimes um, you find out later what you really want to do. So I went to a company in Black Forest almost 20 years ago um, to make what I love to do. So I was very active in RC flying, airplane flying, helicopter flying, and so I take chance to go to a small company to be the product manager and then chief developer for helicopters and
Awesome.
drones
Okay.
later and things like that.
Okay.
After that, 5 years I did this. I go back to my home country and I start my own company where I did mainly industry design. So turbochargers for cars, hybrid drivetrain systems, things like that. So I was developer for industry stuff with my own office. So you
That's
know,
quite deep and intricate stuff there, like what you're talking about. That's deep engineering.
it was really. I was working with guys from NASA, so it was really funny time. I did this 11 years with very very exciting projects. It was almost
Uh-huh.
everything was future technologies we did. Yeah. Um,
Progression. Okay, and then so you've gone from there, and you've now said, okay, I've got an idea. Let me
Yeah,
show you.
let's say if you are a developer like I am, you always have ideas in your brain. You can't stop
Yeah,
this. And
sometimes.
so
Yeah.
I did my normal business, which did very well and had good money, and everything was fine. But I always was thinking about ideas in my hobby, let's say, yeah. So it was going back to a hobby. So toys and things like that was only for myself in this time. So like the Airbus you said, the big jumbo plane,
Wonderful.
this was a private project I only did for myself. I used that as well for air shows and things like that, sure. It was also a kind of business, but it was a single piece production, only for me. And but this plane especially follows exactly the same vision like the drift racers do. So having a toy or having a downscaled thing from the real
Yeah,
world, which not only looks like and sounds like the real thing, but also moves exactly like the real thing.
flies at the scale speed. That's what impressed me
Right,
the most
right.
was how big it was and how
Yeah,
slow it moved.
right. But
Yeah,
to
and
make this happen, um,
that's
you
the
have to
challenge.
yeah, you have to understand you have to build an airplane like this with 2 meters of wingspan
Mm.
the plane has, and the weight was about 350 grams.
Yeah,
So very, very light, very extreme
very,
light
very light,
building.
but such a
And
big
that's what
thing.
yeah, it's what the only way to make this happen. It's nothing to make a product out of it. It was a single piece thing.
Yeah. When I
Um,
first saw that, I actually thought it was a balloon, like a helium balloon
yeah,
with wings on. Yeah,
yeah.
but you know what I mean? Is that what it is?
The main fuselage tube
Fuselage.
is indeed is filled
Yeah,
with helium or with air. So the helium is not that much lift. So I
yeah.
can
So
fly it with air as well.
exactly,
Uh,
it's already lighter than air, so it could technically just float, but you're just
no,
pushing
no,
it
no.
along.
The,
Wow,
the, the, the
close.
helium just makes it a bit lighter. So you can say
Right.
the whole weight is about 350 grams, and
Mhm.
I think it was about 40 grams, which which the helium brings on lift. So it was not much, but
Oh,
it makes the fuselage weight nothing. So the plane itself is very stable and very light. However, but finally that was very close to what we do with drift right
so
now.
you use the same kind of ideology from
Yeah,
that, and then from your engineering, and you've put that into the cars. But what I'm interested in is when did the spark happen for the crown wheel? Yeah, when did you say I don't want four wheels? That's not going to happen. The four tires that we know
yeah,
normally. When did the circle in the middle, the crown wheel, when did
yeah,
that
good.
happen for you? Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So
Um,
when did that, what Carlos is showing us, because
yeah,
that's
sure.
what is incredibly special, is that
Yeah.
center crown wheel with its
Right.
two driven powered wheels.
So let's begin.
So I've got some pictures.
Ye- yes, I see it. I see it. So let's say, when I started with this idea, which I came up with this idea, having small cars driving with the behavior of a real car. So the base idea, so it starts in 2003 when I had the first idea for this product, but at that point it was totally different to what we have now.
It was
And
still traditional 4 wheels.
there were different ideas, but it was more the vision what the product should do finally. And I thought about different ways to do it. And at that point, there was no mobile phones which can do it like today. So in 2003, so it takes a few years where this idea was in my bag, in my head, and I never could leave it. And at one point, I realized, okay, right now the technology is so good with smartphones, what we can do with Bluetooth, and what we can do with a simulation on the phone. And that was the point I realized, okay, it's possible to do what I'm dreaming about. So making a small car driving like the real thing by using a computer simulation.
Okay.
Because you can scale down this car, but you could not scale down the environment around the car, you know?
And the physics, the actual
physics, right? That's a problem. While all these toys do not drive like the real thing. And so the idea was to use the possibilities of a modern computer simulation, because in a simulation I can simulate the real behavior and make the car being the let's say the output of the simulation. So we extended our game into reality by these cars. That was the idea behind everything. You know?
So it's like when I sometimes describe it to people, I say to them that you guys made a video game and reached into the screen and grabbed the car out and put it on the desk.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And so
you found out a way of making that car show me what it should be doing on the screen, which is impossible with the traditional 4 tires of an RC.
There was different things to do. So first of all, I need simulation. When I start with this, it was not a business project. It was just still my idea to try it and to find out if this works. I still had my old company, my office, but I tried to do this
part time. This is my little imagination, my little hobby.
It was a bit more. It was in okay, so investigation. No, not investigation is the wrong word.
Like a potential project.
Experimentation.
There might be something at the end of it, but we don't know yet, kind of thing.
Right. And I was willing to spend even time and money to find out if it works. So I had to find somebody who could do the application for me. It was just an app for a demo, for prototype. So we couldn't use them later, but I spent, I think it was 20,000 euros, about 20,000 euros just to get this application. It was a bit crazy, but I really was believing in this idea, and I said, okay, I need this app to test it, to find out if it works. So I find somebody who could do that. And at least I had to find out the mechanical part as well. So one thing was the app, which I find people which could do that. But then I had to find out a mechanical system which can, let's say which can bring this simulation in reality. So which can move exactly like the simulation says. Yeah. So that was the challenge. So therefore I had to came up with a mechanical concept which can do this. And it was clear it will not be drifting by slip.
Oh,
we're losing Martin again a little bit.
We do seem to be losing Martin again a bit. Martin, we seem to
a system which is in contact with.
You're coming in and out a little bit again.
Yeah, it's good now. It's good now. Yeah. You're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong, but not perfect.
Okay.
So.
And that is is that the app that I've got on the screen? Can you see the screens? You can't see the screen.
I see. Yeah.
Is that the app there? Is that the one you're talking about?
That was the prototype app. Right. So the instruments you can see, I draw this with CorelDRAW or something like that. It was very simple made, and yeah, very
And I think
very.
you still use this, don't you? You still use this. This I've seen you drive with this screen occasionally, or is that just old footage?
This is all footage. So this is really a prototype app I did once. I have the phone here because I have all the stuff here from our last live stream where we show all the prototypes and all the history of this product. And it was on this phone. And I can show you. Yeah, battery is running. Maybe you can see that.
So most of the idea was kind of nubbed down already in your mind, Lynn. I want a dashboard. I want the rev counter. I want the mileometer. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, the idea of, I think it's fabulous that my battery power is my fuel.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
it's
It's gimmicks. Some things of this comes later and more. But the basic idea was to have the speed meter and the instruments. So we're gonna start. So,
that's it.
you
Yeah, we
see?
can see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You can
great.
hear the sound was awful, but interesting. But it was very simple
Yeah.
and was handmade. No?
Yeah.
Everything was there.
Yeah.
So speed, handbrake, and the normal brake,
Very cool.
almost like today.
Yeah.
But it looks really poor, and there was no menu and no setups and things like that. So just to drive the car, just to show people and maybe some investors or whatever what
Yeah.
I want to do,
Yeah.
and show it to myself, of course, to
Yeah.
understand if it works.
Yes.
So and then I have to find out a mechanical way to do it. That was your question, how I came up with the central drivetrain. To be honest, I don't know, I don't remember. It was about 15 different mechanical things, or 12 to 15 mechanical systems I tried before I find the final way with this central unit.
So
Yeah.
this is a very early one there. I've
It
just
was,
I've just taken this from your stream the other day. Some of these pictures, like one at a time.
yeah,
But you've got that central turning system in the middle there. And again, none of these four wheels are running. It's just these two that are powered, and that's the huge moment for me. Is
yeah.
this crown wheel bit that
It is. It is. I did different other ways to do it, and they also works. Other systems. I have them here, so I can show you one of them.
make
Just a
your
moment. So, for example, maybe you can see it. Could you see
Yeah. We
mine?
can see it. Yeah. We can see it. We can see it.
and then
It was one of the prototypes. It was machined.
balls, that one.
Well, yeah, that one is one with the bowl. So I have two bowls here. Yeah, like in a computer mouse, but
Yeah.
opposite because they are driven by electric motors in both directions. Yeah, and the
Very
car
nice.
was driving on these bowls, and I could move them in any direction. It was very
Ah,
nice. It works well, but
Interesting.
when I
but
watched
much
the video, I didn't understand that. I thought they was driven wheels,
no,
and it was the other way. I couldn't work it out. I was like, what is this about?
no,
But
no.
I
It
see
really was running on the wheels.
so it's like
On
a
the wheels.
powered mouse.
Yeah,
Essentially.
right. Two power mouse, one in the front, one in the rear. So
Not good. Any good? No.
it works well, but it's too complicated and too sensible. It was not
Yeah.
durable, you know. And the problem was really to find a system which is durable, which is simple enough, which is small enough to fit different cars and things like that. So finally, I came up with this idea with the central one, and it was the only way for me to make this.
So that was quite a complicated set of um, like mathematics that's going on there in order for you to, where you're trying to run the physics of it, those two wheels and the crown. There's two different sets of parameters going on at the same time, isn't it? Like the crown is the
Yeah,
direction of the car,
yeah,
and the wheels are the direction of the motion.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really complex.
It
Did
is.
yeah? Can you tell us more? How did that come? How did that did the software guy say, did the people that made the game say, actually you need this and you need that, and you
No,
put that in a car?
no, to be honest, no, because these guys they are really good in programming and what they do,
Hmm.
but in this case, it needs somebody who has the vision of an idea, and this was so different. Nobody at the beginning, nobody knows or understand what I want to do. It was quite tough to bring these people
Yeah.
into the idea of what I want to do, and it was really in my mind how it works. So because I told them I want to have the simulation and I want to bring it to the car in reality. They said it's impossible. How should we do that? Then I said, why not? If I have the car running on my simulation in the background virtually, it's not, you can't see it, but it's there. It's running.
Yeah.
It is there.
Yeah.
There is a virtual car running on the screen or behind the screen, let's say. And why not pick up from this car, from the center point of the car, for example, the relevant parameters, which is speed, which is rotation, and which is angle.
And the arc, yeah.
Yeah, it's only three parameters, which determines.
Breaking up again a little bit. You're
Yeah.
breaking up again a little bit there, Martin.
Might
Start
be
again.
his
I
internet.
think a bit of internet lag or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Martin, we're not hearing anything from
And
you.
that's exactly what we did. Pick up this.
You
To
grabbed it out of the screen and you
I'm
put it
still
right.
I'm always back again.
You just,
Hello?
yeah, we can hear
Hello?
you now. Yeah.
No, it's
For some reason, every time you start explaining something,
I
your
think
audio
so.
just cuts off, and then we
That's
just
fine.
hear the ending, and then like it's almost like and that's how I did it.
And
Okay.
Maybe it's a confidential thing, and Martin's just
I
pressing
think
the
so.
button that the lies.
Some firewall, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Information
Right.
firewall.
So I wanted to touch on something that Jem said before, like when he said like you took like a car from a game and then you converted it
Yeah.
onto like a real life thing, like an actual car. And I think we often discuss this with Jem. I think with the FPV we did the opposite. We kind of
We'll put
backtracked
it.
your work a little bit because we
You
we
put it
took
back, right?
exactly we put it back onto the game aspect of it because it feels like, I mean, you're driving the car. For us,
Yeah.
the feeling with all the stuff that we added onto it, it feels like I'm driving an actual real car. And I've
Yeah.
had moments that because the car is so realistic when it drives, I've had moments when I was back before the pandemic, when I was at Gems with another friend of ours, Tristan, that also drives with us. And he even has like a little subwoofer thing that you can put on your body.
Mm-hmm.
So when you press the accelerator, you feel the vibration
Yeah.
from the
Cool.
speed of the car going. And we've had like no lights as well, so just the beams from the car. And I actually felt like I was back home driving a car in the highway, like
Uh,
for real. I actually forgot. I put some music on the headset as well, and from
yeah.
from all of those feelings that are being added to your body and the sensation that you just
Yeah.
see the road ahead of you, I actually genuinely felt that I was back in the location. That's how realistic it feels when you start adding
Okay.
this
You
type
have
of stuff.
the wheel and the pedals. Now, this is kind of, we're touching on to another subject, yeah,
Yeah,
uh, that Carlos really, really wants to ask you
I
about.
really
I'm
want to
sure.
ask this. Yes.
But for me, it's really big that I've got the wheel and the pedals.
Yeah.
That connection to the game is massive. I'm
Yes,
going to let
because
Carlos ask you the question.
although
Let's let
although
Carlos.
you know the way that you've done it
Couldn't
with
hear you right now, so we understand.
oh, sorry. So Jem is just talking about the connection that you have. So for example, let me explain. The connection that you have right now with the car is by the way of using a phone, right? So
Yeah.
you turn, and I have to say, like when I started, it actually felt like I was turning a wheel. at the beginning. I was actually turning the wheel, but I felt that the more that we advanced our skills in it, and we've all started line of sight. Jem was a bit worse, but he also started line of sight,
I'm
and
going to show you this. On the back of my phone, I've got an elastic.
yeah,
Yeah. I
Yes.
put my fingers in because I was
Ah,
struggling with
okay.
holding the phone and then touching the phone.
Yeah.
yes,
Nice.
Yeah. So I did that so I don't hold the phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
But
know what I
Nice.
mean?
but as our
But
skills progressed, I found more and more, and I've even seen like even with like very advanced drivers when you see them on video, this realism that I'm like, oh, turn left, turn right, kind of disappears. And I just see people like holding the phone even horizontally and just like tilting around, and it's more like a gamey feeling that you're not like really driving a car. The car looks realistic, like especially the drift, which I guess was the whole idea of
what we
uh,
showed
of
by
this
the end
car.
of it, I found
Yeah.
myself just doing this, the
Mhm.
steering,
Yes.
and not steering.
Yeah, sure.
It was
And
just like
yeah, so part of the connection that you have, that immersion that you have at the beginning, that you're fighting with your phone in front of your face to try and drive the car, eventually starts disappearing. But we found that with the stuff that we did with the wheel and the pedals, it comes right back. Like you
that's right.
actually you're counter steering the car in order to
So the
turn
question
the car.
is,
Yeah.
the
So
question
this is
is,
all leading to the question. So one of the things that we've noticed a lot is that even a friend of ours refused to try and learn the car because he just said like I can't do it with the phone. If only I had a remote control that you can connect to the phone. So my question is this something that you're thinking about for the future to have like a sort of uh, remote control integration that is able to work directly with an app that you don't have to turn the phone around, that you can just do everything on the remote control?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely yes. Yes.
awesome.
When you go back to our first Kickstarter campaign, which
Mm-hmm.
we did in 2016, I think so, where we launched the first generation of the product, um, there was many things we have to explain to the people, and also we have a frequently question and answer part, and of course many people ask us why not doing a controller system for these cars
Mm-hmm.
with a steering wheel, things like that. And at that time, we already said, and it was part of my business plan at that time, we want to do in future, we want to do an additional
Accessories like a wheel and an app.
game, yeah, a mechanical thing. So a steering, or let's say a mechanical cockpit, yeah,
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
which you can connect with your app, and which makes steering or controlling the car in this physical or I can say in this way like you do with the
Yeah.
big steering wheel.
Yeah.
So of course this is a product we want to do. Sure, we will do. The point is to develop something like this to make it really good,
Mm-hmm.
which we have to do because when I spend that energy and time into things like that, I want to do another gamepad which only works with our application,
Mm-hmm.
then it should be really a thing which gives you the right feeling and everything, the control you need to drive
Probably
this
the right
car to
thing.
be perfect. And the concept is there, it's almost finished, and everything's fine, but it's just a question of time and money to do it, you
Okay.
know?
So,
So
so,
we will do that, but it will take some time
so
because
if I understand correctly, you want to make a product not allow any controller to connect to the app. Is that it?
A proprietary product. Only your steering wheel and pedals can connect to the app. Or anybody. Can I make a steering wheel and pedal system to connect to your app?
because your connection was lost.
Oh yeah. So we were asking if your plan is to make a proprietary gamepad that only Drift will have, or to allow anyone to connect any gamepad to the app.
So let's say when we do this modification also to the app, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it will be possible to use other gamepads too.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
possible. I don't know exactly how it works, and it's a technical thing,
Yeah.
and we are not already not sure how to do it. So let's say maybe other pads will work as well. But I will want to do this in a different way, in a much better way than a normal gamepad. So
Okay.
focus would be on this thing, but this will take some time for sure.
Sure.
So, because my slight question, not just to the side of that,
Yeah.
I can understand why you've done it all automatic car. If we had a gamepaddy type thing, and if I had my steering wheel,
Yeah.
I could then go up and down in gears.
Sure.
Yeah. Because now they're just automatics, and I
Right.
tend to sometimes drive with engine braking. So in my head is I should be in second gear,
Yeah.
and I'm not. Yeah. So that would come in the future. So we're opening up.
There's many things that will come for sure. So it's a good example, the manual shifting. So it's absolutely no problem to do this in the application.
Yeah.
Everything is there. So it's the opposite, because make this shifting automatic was very complicated, was not that easy, because you have to understand the shifting is not only in the race modus where the car goes with a
Like a four-wheel drive.
uh,
Every time we try to explain something,
It's very interesting.
so you know what RPM you have to switch to the
you've gone again.
Every time you try to explain, it just breaks away.
problem. I'm waiting when until the connection is better.
Yeah. It's good now. Yes.
Okay. So it was quite complicated to make this shifting thing
Yeah.
in the drift modus, because it's not up to the RPM. It's totally different, So sometimes if you are in a drift and let's say the RPM goes a bit down, torque goes up, so you have to shift down, or you have to keep the gear. So it's shifting in a drift modus is not that easy. So we have a lot of algorithm there, and it was really, really tough and a lot of work to make that working well. So it would be much more easier to make it manual.
Yeah.
But you would have don't even have enough fingers.
All of the just change gears.
How would you brake and gear and all the rest of it?
It'd be quite complicated.
You see why they're all automatic.
So while we still have some time, a couple more questions that we have here. So do you have any also another thing that from my point of view would probably be easier to implement, and this has been a question from other people as well, like wet track to dry track markers. So right now we have markers that just to recognize that's 180. Would it be possible to get dry, wet markers and drift race markers? Is this something that you've planned already? Maybe.
So that we could do potentially rally tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like rallycross.
Were you able to hear, or did the connection drop?
Again, I think the connection dropped again. Yeah.
Okay. So I was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this something that you're planning for the future, to have like more markers that will allow, for example, wet to dry and race to drift changeability? Because I feel that not a lot of people use wet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like that, because wet setup is very good. Most of the people are afraid to use it because it's more complicated. Yeah. But it's the opposite. It's like the real thing. If you are a beginner in drifting, it's much easier to go on wet track. And that is one of the points where you can really understand how good the simulation is right now, or how realistic it is. Because if you try it, sure, you have to go slower. It's on wet condition. Mm-hmm. But if you do so, if you go a bit slower,
there he goes again. I think he's just saying if we go slower, you can get a lot of better results.
You get more control over it when you go slower.
There you go again. Your internet.
Enough power. Always have to.
Yeah. Do you normally have issues with internet, Martin?
I don't know.
Oh,
Frozen,
do you?
frozen. It's totally
Maybe it's just the video. Do you want to disconnect the video and just have voice? Maybe it will help with the sending in
That's
the
right.
connection.
I don't know. So,
big green button on the left.
There we go. Okay,
but
so
then you only can hear me. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but
Okay.
you're gonna have to send less information through the net, so maybe it will
I
be a
think
bit
it's more
faster.
important than your face. Yeah. True.
No, we can green screen you afterwards.
It's nice. No, it's
uh,
fine. Let's try it this way. Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So
Going
is
slower on
this
the next page.
implementation something you think for the future, or because I feel, at least I don't go into wet track as well because I'm like I don't want to drive in wet track constantly, but I would like to drive it sometimes. But then I don't want to be back in the menu, and
Yeah.
you don't want to.
So to make a long story short,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay.
Cool.
Good
That's
thing.
all I can say at the moment.
And another follow-up question on that, which I guess is like modifying stuff in the app as well, is that is your plan in the future to allow people to import their own things to the app, like for example car sounds, and to even make their own custom car at some point?
No, I think this is not possible
No.
because
Okay.
you have to understand still the sound engine we use
Yeah.
in this application. It's also absolutely state of the art. It's the absolutely highest way you can do it,
Hmm.
most complex way. And the tool we use, it's a ref engine. It's called ref engine. Um, is a very special way. So we do not use single RPM files and pitch them and things like that.
Yeah.
This is really,
Well,
yeah, I can't
you
explain in English,
actually
but
recorded the real cars, didn't you, Mike?
yeah, right. We record the sounds from real cars in absolute highest quality, and this is the only way to make the sound sounding well on a smartphone speaker. You know.
And I have
And
to say, the sound when I'm driving is really important.
yeah,
When I can hear that engine's rev, I know, where I am.
right,
In,
right.
in a way, it's very, very important, especially in FPV,
Mm,
because I'm from within the car. I haven't got that visual idea of how far it's travelled and all that.
right.
It,
We
I
have
love it. It's
yeah.
massive. It's critical.
We have someone here in the stream saying, "Please, Martin, an FPV out of the box option for the future, please."
But by the way, that's a good question. So
Yeah.
we thought about this early in the beginning when we start the project. But I'm coming from the toy industry, and I did a lot of this stuff. I have some experience with toys before. We had this, and one of this experience is never ever try to put a camera or microphone into a toy. Because of all these regulations
Okay.
in privacy, things like this. So having a camera or a microphone in a children's room is a really challenging thing.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I know, so this is the main reason we didn't
Okay.
focus on that. But right now, let's say we are going more into a technical direction with this product than it was the idea. So
Hmm.
I would love to have it more in a way of a toy
Hmm.
for the mass market.
Yeah.
But to be honest, this product is so complex in using and also complex in the mechanical side.
Hmm.
Maybe it's not a toy, yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, you can use it as a toy, and so you're still in this in the same regular areas. So it's a dangerous thing to put a camera on things
Yeah.
like
Sure.
that. But maybe we can do something like an add-on or conversion kit, things like that. So
A little bit like we do. Like Carlos, have you got your
I really
your creator?
thinking about it.
So what we do is take the front window and the back window out
Yeah.
and just plonk in our little cameras on a mount.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
just
you do
right.
very well, and for sure. By the way, I want to go in discussion with you guys and to find out how we maybe can do a very nice. Yeah, it's cool. How we can find a way together to make a kind of a set
Yeah.
kit, which helps people to do this conversion very easy. So why not?
Very
Let's keep in touch
interesting.
about this.
Yeah, sure.
A couple of our little issues is that we need the second battery, and we don't know how to tap it so that we can charge that second battery without
Mm,
having to take it out of the car.
Oh, I
If we
know,
didn't
but
take that out, we'd have a lot less problems.
yeah,
Um, Stuff like that. But
yeah,
yeah, I, from my, from our point of view, the FPV is very, very strong. So, we love the line of sight as well. And yes, Gymkhana in line of sight when you guys do that butterfly competition
mm,
is fantastic, just wonderful. I love that competition.
yeah,
Um, but my own strength is down the FPV line, so we're going
sure.
to continue pushing this one as much as we can.
Yeah, that's cool to see because really you guys are the only one I know we who do this that the way so extreme, so focused on this. So we have so many customers, and yeah, there are only a few which do FPV right now, but you guys do it very very extremely and very good. So it's
yeah.
I really like to see the videos on your is it good or I'm gone again?
No, no, you're good, good.
No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no,
The voice is
good.
much better now.
Okay, so I really love to see how you drive on this huge track with all the buildings around in your background. I can see.
Well, this is what I've been
Yeah,
saying to is that if you're going to do it in FPV,
Yeah.
you need to bring the sidewalls in. It's
Yes.
very important. Those sidewalls are critical
Yeah.
for FPV, and you need the thing that you're driving around. If you're just driving FPV in a big room
Yeah.
or in a hall, the walls spin too quickly, and
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
very uncomfortable.
hmm
Um, that's just painted cardboard, Martin. It looks good because you're rushing
yeah.
past it, but it's nothing special.
But it's lovely. I really like it.
It's just the way it's laid out. I'm quite happy with this little track, 50 quid for that track there, that road system. That's from Germany, Martin. I bought
uh,
it from Lidl.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's another question actually that I want to ask. So you mentioned before that you're kind of making your own accessory for like a gamepad type thing for the cars
Yeah.
eventually. Are you thinking of making other types of accessories for the car to use, like all different tracks or more track features or anything else like that, or do you prefer to leave this for other companies that do this type of stuff?
Mm,
Let's say, sure, I want to do more, of course, because there's so many potential and things
so many.
really makes the product better. But to be honest, we are still a startup company.
Yeah,
That's that fact. So we did a lot in a few years, and we have many customers right now. But we're still a small company here in Germany, and with a small team, and it's also not so easy to make all these things without having millions of budget like big toy industries.
yeah,
So
of
we
course.
always have to be careful, and we always have to do one step by the other one. And we want to do more for sure, but yeah, we have to do one
But you
up.
do
Yeah.
have some great companies that have been born in a way from your company.
Mhm.
There's a couple of the two track guys,
Yeah.
um, and then the DS with the wheels
Right.
and the accoutrement stuff like that. You encourage these people, don't you? So they're only helping you, and you're helping them, and it's
Right.
this is what I was trying to get across earlier was that in some ways you're kind of responsible because you've created a new genre, Martin. Like what you created with these drift cars is separate to traditional RC. It is very much a new thing,
Yeah.
and there's a load of stuff that needs to go with it. Like I understand that you're looking at a multiplayer and you're understand and that you're going to do a multi-race thing, but the timings and stuff like that could come out to other people. And I've got an idea for a game thing, my little pucks. Um, so other people can create industry around your product. Is what I'm
Right,
trying to
right.
get to. Yeah, it doesn't have to all be on your shoulders.
Right, exactly. So this is a point of view. So I know many people told me you have to stop them and it's not good because it's your business, blah blah blah, things like that. But really, it's not what I think. So in my opinion, it's really like you say, we create something totally new, and
Yeah.
I really I do my best to support these guys because we have good relationship with Daniel from DS and with the other guys making the tracks. And
And they're
from
promoting
my
you.
point of
At the end
view,
of
it's
the day,
say again?
you couldn't possibly make all of the stuff that they make. So trying to stop them from making it is not helping you in any fashion.
No, absolutely not, because they're helping us, and this is a good thing, and I really like that because we have created something totally new, and even if there would be another company which copy our cars, I would believe it would help us, because it's a new brand, a new kind of gaming, and we are alone. It's only us.
A whole
So,
new genre. This is very much the thing that I was trying to get back to with this, where you got the crown wheel.
mm,
Is that was the question I was going to ask you earlier? Sorry if I can go back a little bit. Um, was it always 1/43 scale, or at any point did you think, oh, this could be a 1/32 scale
yeah,
or a 1/64 scale or something? Do you know what I mean?
okay,
When did you get to 1/43? It's a lovely scale,
yeah,
big enough. You get plenty of joy out of looking at the car,
yeah.
um, but it is an odd scale.
It's quite easy. So when I started development, and the idea was to make that cars as small as possible. That
Mhm.
was my vision, because these cars drive with the real behavior, with acceleration, with real top speed and things like that.
Yeah,
And so it's not like a slot car track where you can accelerate from 0 to 500 kilometers per hour in zero point 0.1 second,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So it's totally different. It's realistic. And this means as smaller the scale, as bigger is your racetrack at your home.
uh-huh. So you
Yeah?
went 1/43 to think I could get a bigger track in, because
With longer
like even
straight
at
and things like that.
1/43, my track is still not that big. I want more.
Right. So
But
that's the
that's
point.
because you drive it in FPV. So in FPV
I
things
drive
go
in
very
race
fast.
mode and in FPV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would love to make it. I'd love to make it even smaller like this, but I find out to bring all this technical concept and then things you need like
Yeah.
battery and stuff like that into the scale which was possible was around the 1 to 43 we use
1/43.
right now. And then I make this decision to use exactly this scale because of it's so popular and there are so many other cars in this scale. It was a decision to make it possible to do your own mods. To
Yeah.
I thought, okay, why not? We can't do all the cars available on the world. I was totally sure we could maybe do one or two different cars a year. So it will take a long time to have a
Yeah, range.
variety. uh,
And
And
1/43 is there's a lot of die casts.
right, right.
There
So
is a lot of those, but
yeah,
not traditionally as an RC car.
right,
Like
right.
that's very
And
small. You get the even smaller ones, but they don't drive nice, and you can't put the electronics in.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, I'm quite glad you've settled on this scale. I think
yeah,
1/32 slot car scale would end up being too big, and
right.
1/64, which is probably where you want to go, for me, would be too small.
Yeah,
So,
really. So finally, I figured out. I decided to do this scale
mhm.
exactly. And to be honest, I never thought there will be so many handmade mods they
But
do. It's crazy what the people doing.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Absolutely
amazing.
crazy. Yeah,
People.
yeah.
So just talking about the conversions, John Ong, I'm pretty sure yeah, John. He did a conversion and he did something to your lights, which has got everybody confused.
I've read this, yeah.
Yeah. So can you explain a little bit for us? Is it reversed? Is it just the value of the power? Is it something?
No. Okay, guys,
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Here we go.
Um,
Hopefully, it's not a
it,
business secret or anything.
I don't know if it is a secret, but it's a fact, and no problem to tell you.
Okay.
Um, um, okay, we have a module on the board, on the electronic board, which it's called H-bridge. I don't know if you know what it is, an
Yeah.
electronic term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So an H-bridge in electronic is something to drive a motor, the motor.
Yeah.
So drive the motors, you need an H-bridge. And the chip we use is a two-channel H-bridge. So you can drive two different motors,
Mm-hmm.
forward and backward.
Yeah.
And we have this one in the power unit for the two motors, and we have another one at the main board for the motor who turns the power unit,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
steering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was on this chip there was one channel left for the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then we decide why not using this for the light, so we do not need any other electronic parts.
Yeah.
And if you know, LED is a diode. I don't know in English.
The
It's
one-way valve.
one-way part, right? You can, if you know how to do. It was an idea from my developers, from the electronic developers. First, I was also thinking it's a bit crazy, but it's possible. It works. If you
Yeah.
electronics is so fast. If you drive it in both directions, you can drive two different LEDs. The one is forward, and the other one is backward.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
with one channel, one cycle, power cycle, where we can control two different LEDs, front and rear. You know?
And you are
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
pulsing those, but we don't see the pulse, so we just see them as on.
What? Say it again.
You're pulsing. So you're going forward LED, back LED, forward LED, back
Oh,
LED.
that goes so fast you can't see it.
You can't
Yeah,
see
exactly.
it, but they are.
Yeah.
There is a pulse in there.
Yeah, LEDs are always pulsing because if you lower the intensity, if you drop them the brightness, it is always pulsing. So no problem at all.
Cool.
So how? Okay, all right. So it is pretty much the way that Drew and John was explaining it.
Yeah.
There,
It is.
that it is
Very
mad.
interesting.
So I'm sorry for that.
That's right.
Like for you,
So
I
think
I want underlights, and I'm trying to find somewhere to power it from.
I think on this topic of how the car works as well, Jem, I know has a question on
Which one?
on the walls.
Ah, okay. So, Martin, this is not a complaint.
It is a complaint.
This is not a complaint.
Super complaint.
But when I hit the wall, I don't understand what the car thinks it's doing. Yeah?
Sounds like a complaint.
Sounds like a complaint, but it's not. Yeah, it's me not understanding. And if I understood, I wouldn't be so annoyed.
Well,
Yeah?
it has to do with the crown wheels being sideways, and
Yeah.
the car thinks it's drifting. But obviously, because
Okay.
there's a wall here, it just
Right.
gets glued to the wall.
That's the point.
I think what Jem means is,
Why does it not go back to center?
can we?
I've pressed brake, I've stopped, there's no revs on, there's no movement. I even try and do a little reverse, it doesn't want to go, and
It's
You know,
yeah. I
I-
think the one thing that
crash.
that annoys me as well on like the one thing is if you get close to the wall, is you're
Yes.
almost sucked in, especially, and you feel it a lot more on FPV
Yeah, right.
because obviously your view is just forward. So if you're even close to wall, you're like, oh, you get sucked in, and that's it. You get stuck there.
Yeah.
Is there?
The problem,
Say what?
the problem is the car is, the car is bringing
Yes.
behaviors from the simulation in reality. And if something stops the car doing that, it's a robot. He will do it to make it. So he will the controller will try to make this move. And if it is not possible, things goes wrong.
So,
That's true.
is there any
Needs like a
way
big
of
button.
fixing this?
We have
Like a
tried.
button.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when it first turns on, it spins around and goes back to center.
Yeah.
It needs a button because I try and reverse, and because it's facing the wall, I can't reverse to get out. So I can't go forward and I can't go back. So I end up having loads of steering action forwards and backwards
Yeah.
to eventually release myself. Yeah. If I just could get the crown wheel back to center, I could drive away.
No, you can't.
I still
because
can't.
because if the center the ground wheel is not turning, you will never could leave the wall, because if you turn the car by the two different wheels, the back of the car have to move into the wall, and it's not possible, you know. So
Okay.
the only trick is really is the
So
problem is if you try to go off, I'm
Yeah, you
sure
drive more into the wall.
you do too much throttle. You give too much throttle, maybe not full throttle, but too much. And the
yeah,
car, the rear wheels are virtually spinning and the back going off, and you have the problem again. So try to stop the car completely, because otherwise it's virtually in drifting. And so as
Yeah.
long as it is drifting, you can't come back from the wall. Stop
practice
the
more, drive
car.
better.
What?
Practice more, drive better.
Yeah, no. Understand how to do it. It's a technical
Yeah,
thing.
have that as
You
a
stop the
tip.
car and turn a bit of the steering, just a bit, and go with a little bit of power. And when the car starts turning, you can go full throttle, and then it's
Yeah.
fine.
I
But
Yeah,
if you
think
go with full throttle, no way.
I think the problem as well is that Jem drives this car, which is again something that I feel that a lot of people don't do, but Jem drives this car on race mode,
mm.
almost
Yeah,
exclusively on race mode.
But
Uh,
yeah. Why not? So
I've
the
uh,
heard.
problem.
but that means that when he's doing a turn, the car is going to get a lot more stuck in the wall than if it was on drift, because obviously the drift turns, it's going to be easier for you to back away if you're in drift mode, because you have a lot more turning
And
of the wheels, more angle of the
No, I
wheels.
don't think so. Mostly it
No.
is you are doing too much turning and too
Hmm,
much power. So less turning, less power, and then
probably.
you will come off.
mm,
There you go, Jem.
mm.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. Can I ask you a
And
question?
by using our barriers helps as well, because we did these barriers with a special form, which a bit helps to lead the
Don't say that. Jem, Jem doesn't
Uh,
agree. I
um,
think your
uh,
barriers pull more the cars.
um,
Sorry.
they didn't
What?
work.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did for me.
No, for us
Um,
it works. I don't know.
yeah, I
For
don't know.
for all the stuff that we tried, maybe this is more apparent on FPV again, because we're restricted to the view, so we don't understand very well where the car is pointed at when we're trying to get away. And if you're looking at it, maybe you have more control of turning it or not. But in
Maybe.
FPV, the the barriers that you provided actually get the car stuck even more for some reason,
Okay.
and the other ones are a bit easier to get out of. But
Best,
I think it's because of FPV.
That's interesting.
best is smooth. Mylar, lovely. I've got Mylar on my track now, and
Yeah.
I don't.
Mhm.
The smoother the wall is, the
Yeah,
easier, even if you're stuck and ramming into the wall, if you just decelerate a little bit, the crown wheel
it's
turns a bit more forward, and then you just can pull out, even as you're going. So you don't even need to stop the car.
By the way, there's another trick. If you're that's a trick for you. If you're driving with speed and you hit the wall
yeah.
Hmm.
and you still have speed, the car's driving, yeah. Do a short turning the wheel into the wall,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
and
yeah,
you know.
we do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
helps.
we do
Yeah,
that.
because it takes away. This is what I'm trying to get across. It takes away the drift, whatever it's trying to do with the
Right.
crown wheel.
Yeah,
It's rid
exactly.
of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's
Right.
where I'm. Maybe if it
Yeah.
went back to
Right.
straight, I could drive off. Um, so can I? Because we've stopped moaning now. Because it's not a complaint. Yeah. Um, can I just quickly ask about Gymkhana?
Right.
So you said originally I wanted that I could drive a game and just take the car off the screen. Was drifting and Gymkhana part of that original plan, or did that come in afterwards?
Yeah. I got you, but you're right. It was not the idea at the beginning. So when I started in 2003 with the idea, which is basic, the
A bit like me.
beginning of what we have now. It was even not the idea of putting the simulation into reality. It was earlier. There was no simulation available at that point. But the idea was to make driving at a small track at home, let's say, possible, because controllable. So it was the basic idea behind. How can I say?
Does any of this come from like I'm a big slot car guy.
Yeah.
So was you a slot car and was you as dissatisfied as I was? Like I want more. It's not enough.
Right. Exactly. That's the point. Yeah. And I was also very active in RC driving, and there with RC cars, you always have the problem.
Yeah.
They are so fast, so hard to control, and having exciting races in your home, even with small ones, was not possible because driving was totally unrealistic and much too fast. So that was the idea. It was not drifting, and it was not gaming like Gymkhana at the beginning. It was really the idea: make racing the better way for your home. And but then when I realized I can move this car in any direction, then the idea to focus on the drifting thing was born. Because it shows the possibilities of real behavior even more than just driving a straight line.
Well, I, I'm not saying anything bad to any of the guys that do the line of sight racing, but I personally can watch the Gymkhana more than I can watch the line of sight racing as a spectator.
Yeah,
Gymkhana, I find it more fun,
yeah,
and I can watch it for longer.
sure. It's more spectacular, sure. Like the real thing. It's like drifting with real cars, huh?
Yeah, but when I watch the guys racing, it looks great. 10 cars around the track, but I can't watch it for long periods. Do you understand what I mean? Can't follow it in the same way. Maybe if there was a commentator and we had the whole this driver, that driver thing going on, it would be more watchable.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like the reality. It's the same. If you go for a real race in reality without a commentator, yeah. But drifting is always spectacular.
We have the same problem with drone racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch a drone race is incredibly boring. Yeah, because you don't really, there's no commentator walking you through it. You struggle with the affinity with the particular thing. You don't really know what's going on. But then to watch a decent drone pilot flying that same course from his point of view is phenomenal.
Sure.
Yeah. So like I think where I'm kind of leading it to is this Gymkhana is a big part of what you've put out. Like in order to get more engine and better engines and stuff like that, we have to do the Gymkhana part. Yeah.
Right.
Was that business decision? Was that a let's have a gameplay decision? Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to work out where the Gymkhana kind of came from.
Oh, good question. I think the Gymkhana basically came there because I am very in love with drifting, and I'm doing this with my real car sometimes. I did in the past. Right now I can't. I have no time for it at all. And I really love all this stuff, like the I don't know, the Red Bull drift shifters and things like that, and the drift series. So yeah, maybe it was finally because of my passion for drifting, I decided to. And even of course you have to understand, even if I like both, I like racing by myself, the same way than drifting, but we have to find out a way to bring this product into the world and make people understand what is different and why it is different to other products. And there's no easier way than showing the cars going sideways because it's so spectacular. And in having different maneuvers like speed drift, angle drift, things like that, it's much easier to make a game mode than in the racing where you have just first place, second place, third place, And then the other hand, we will do this for racing too, for sure in future. But to do this for racing, first we have to do the multiplayer technology. So we really need a way to connect the different cars and the different phones
Hmm.
Yeah, that is a bit right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah,
You know?
and on the
And,
same track length as well. It's
right,
gonna be.
right. And when we can do this, and we're working on that for sure, then there will be possibilities to earn points and medals and
Yeah,
tunings by racing too.
yeah. So I've
But
done
it's,
something in the past. I don't know if you. I even thought about maybe having you, Martin, do it today, but I think with the technical issues we've had, it's going to be a bit complicated. Which would be for you to drive one of your cars remotely on my track.
yeah, yeah, it's cool. I've seen
But
that.
yeah, I think
I would
today
love to
maybe
try
a
it.
bit more for today, but we can try it another time if you want.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so can I just
yeah.
so this points thing now I drive in race mode.
Yeah.
I,
So
you,
there's no point.
What? Say it again. I didn't get you.
So I can't. If I drive in race mode,
Yeah.
I can't earn any points.
he's
Yeah, that's
moaning,
true.
moaning again.
He just says it like that, like he don't care. But so how do I get better engines? I'm gonna have.
That's the reason why we make the possibility to buy the stuff
Exactly, I knew it.
for the
I
people
knew
who
it.
don't want to drift.
I need to buy all of the things of all of the cars, and I've got all of the cars, so that's it's quite a lot
Yeah.
more. Um, so there's no way you can give points in race mode. I don't see how you can.
We give you get points, but not that much. You get points
Yeah,
for any race you do, but it's less. I know.
150,000, and I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
eight.
I know. No, it just takes some time. So we're working on that, and we want to do it right. We want to do it really good, and we want to have it the same exciting way like it is with the drift mode right now.
Yeah.
But this needs the possibility of connection to different cars. So it will take some time for sure.
Awesome. Okay. All right. No, as long as it's coming, I don't really mind because I just love driving and racing as it is. Yeah. It's just I wouldn't mind exploring the other engines without having to go through the gymkhana because I like watching people do it, and I'm just not as I just want to race, and we all want what we want, I suppose.
It's up to you. That's a good thing. You can do both. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I'm conscious that Martin, we've had you for a long time already here. Maybe
yeah,
you want to go back to your family. So I just wanted to ask, like, concluding. You've touched on this a little bit already, but where do you see drift in the future? Do you have ideas to make maybe more international events, or
yeah,
even market overseas, or what's your ideas for the future of
The
drift?
Americans are asking a lot, aren't they? Got a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people asking.
Yeah, you got it really right. So it's not about the ideas; it's really about the needs we have. So
Hmm.
so let's say that what we have developed, the whole system with the application, with the small robot cars and things like that, it's very complex. It's huge thing we do there, and it's sure we can't do this only in Germany. Let's say so. The next thing we have to do to grow and to do more new exciting stuff, first of all, is to extend our distribution system. So we have tried to do this in the last 2 years, but we find out it didn't work, and we stepped back to first set up the distribution in Germany and Austria and Switzerland. Because of the language and because of the possibility to do the things we do right now, which means doing social media content, bringing this product by social media advertising to the people and social media community, because um, it's really the tough thing. The product is so new and so different. We tried that already, but giving these products to a distributor, to a wholesale partner, doesn't work at all, because
Too much to explain.
the retailer is not able to explain the product right. Exactly. So it's too new, it's too different. And we have learned, and it was hard and it was very expensive for us and not easy, but we have learned we need to go the way by social media, by good live streams, good YouTube videos, influencers, all these things. This is the only way we have, the only chance to bring this product into the world. And it's sad because it would be much more easier to give a price to a retail uh, around the world, and that's it. But it doesn't work. So we have to go step by step. Also in this case, what we are doing now is we already have set it up in Germany, Austria, Switzerland as well. It's fine. And for this year, before the pandemic starts, we had the idea to grow, especially in the UK and in the Netherlands. That was what we have planned. Yeah. Okay. At the moment, people have other issues and other problems with all these crazy things going on.
Yeah.
But however, I'm still have the target to do that, and we want to do it, and we need to do this, and so that's a reason we really also need your help. It's not only doing things for you, but you guys could do for us, because making this product visible in the UK especially, the only way is having many people on social media using the products, doing videos, things like that. And this is exactly what we really need now. And so I'm really happy you guys doing this so well and supporting us this way. And that's really important for us. Really.
We enjoying this, Martin. This is no chore for us.
Yeah, I just enjoy driving.
Yeah, but
And
you know,
and I'm a bit of a developer as well, so I enjoy more than just driving. I enjoy tinkering, and
Thank-
it opens up ideas for me. And I I don't want to commercialize any of the stuff that I do, so I just normally just release stuff like the wheel, for example. We could have kept
Yeah.
that a secret, but why? You know, it's more interesting for other people to have fun than just us.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, um, we I've tried to do FPV in untold RC cars. I've tried them all. I've been through the list of RC cars, and they fail.
Yeah.
And I want to do FPV in an RC car on a small scale. So you're falling into my wheelhouse. You're giving me what I want. So for me to do all of this stuff is easy because it's what I want to do.
Yeah, sure.
So it works out very, very well for everyone in the same way. Um, is I know you've only just brought out your two metal cars, the Mercedes and the BMW. There's a lot of people talking about other cars. There's nothing on the horizon, is there?
There is for sure. We are working on a few things, but again, it takes time, and
Yeah.
especially in this time. So right now we should have another one. It's not another car, but another design, let's say, yeah, from our cars. It should be there, but it isn't. So we are still waiting for the bodies. Hopefully they will come the next weeks.
Plastic,
What?
plastic again?
No. It's about our two metal cars.
Uh huh. So
So
not a real car, like because like the normal turbo cars, that's a bit Evo-y, a bit Subaru-y,
yeah.
a bit of different things.
Yeah,
We
sure.
don't-
There are so many things to do, but again, this is not. I'm not talking about a new type of car. We will do
It's just
another
a
one.
shell. Is that it?
What?
Is it just
No.
a shell that you're?
No. You got me wrong. Sorry.
Okay.
So we are working on different other cars for the future. So maybe end of the year there will be something available, but it's not finished yet. So we will see. We are working on that, but it takes
Okay.
time. It costs money, and it's
Yeah,
not
of
so
course.
easy.
Yeah.
But right now we have the BMW and the Mercedes. These two
Yeah.
cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will get one of these cars in another design, in another color scheme.
Ah, okay, in another color scheme. Okay.
Yeah, in a very nice one. This will be coming soon, very soon. So we are waiting for that, but hopefully it will come the next, I don't know, few weeks.
you notice that there's a lot of people that do conversions
Yeah.
of your cars.
Yeah.
Is there any idea of doing a converter kit that doesn't come with a body, kind of thing?
No, not really, because you have to, for such a product you have to have an idea and a line where we go. And the decision we had very early not to make different body shells for one standard mechanical thing, because it's really like in a computer game or in the real world. If you buy a Mercedes 190 Evo, for example, you really get not only the shell, you get
Yeah.
a robot inside with all the driving behavior, with the sound, with everything from the real car. So it's not about changing the shell. It's really about having a car with everything which is part of it, you know.
Yeah.
And so, sure, you can get the spare parts, no problem for this, but it's not what we focus on. It's really having complete cars which are really small examples of the real thing with everything which is part of it: sound,
Yeah.
driving behavior, everything.
And it very much is that. For example, the Mercedes, I find, drives like a Mercedes
Right.
in that we
Yeah.
call it wallaby, where it tips over a lot.
Yeah. It's a big
Yeah,
tub.
and BMWs are very tight.
Yeah.
And it's, if you look underneath, they look exactly the same, but they've got very different characteristics.
Sure, but the characteristic comes from simulation. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
You know, if you connect the car to your mobile phone, every single car has their own MAC address,
Yeah.
national address.
Yeah. Yeah.
The app scans this app with this address and downloads the driving behavior, the sound, and everything from our backend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's completely unique for this particular car.
Yeah.
So the weight of the car is different. The I don't know, the gear relation, the steering angle, everything is completely different.
Yeah.
It's simulated.
Yeah.
Represented, and I really can feel that.
Yeah.
I think I feel it more than the line of sight people feel it, because I'm feeling it in an FPV.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
And it's very obvious to me, very,
Mm.
very obvious differences between the cars.
Sure. But this is part of the game, what we do. It's not only having the same car with different shapes, it's having unique different cars, driving different. Front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very cool.
And they really do feel different, even though that mechanically they're the same.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Well, thank you, Martin, for your time. I mean, we really appreciate you taking the time to
You're welcome, guys.
come and talk to us.
Great conversation, lots of great information there
Yeah.
from you, Martin. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I feel that we understand a bit more about the company and where the company is headed and where it started as well, and what's your core values really. Yeah, it's been a good talk.
Cool.
Yeah.
So just one more little thing about the driving. If I can just ask one last question.
Not gonna let you
Last
go.
question.
Is there any difference between arcade and normal in the modes? Like, what is the difference between those?
To be honest, this is different between the one body and the new ones. So finally, it's another setup. So we try to find a setup in arcade which is a bit easier to drive for the beginning. So it's
Okay.
still a simulation. It's not really in arcade mode, so so it's still a simulation. But we changed the parameters like the I don't know the grip of the wheels and different things to make the car even a bit more easier to drive than in the standard setup.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, for the first cars, it didn't works out that well as we want to have it, because the standard setup is, I don't know, it's a bit harder to drive because it's more aggressive and more power and things like that. But finally, yeah, I want to say, if you have some practice, it's much more fun than using the arcade modes in the beginning. So arcade is for the first trials is really good for the begin. If you do the first steps, then it's a bit easier. But then most people switch very early to the standard setup and the more powerful ones. For the new one, for the metal cars, for the BMW and BMW and the Mercedes, I did it a bit different way. I set up the arcade models. That was the reason I told you in your live stream last time to try the
Yeah.
arcade models
Yeah.
in the metal class, because that time we more reduced the engine power and the characteristic of the engine
Okay.
and things like that to make the car more controllable. And so the car is a bit slower, of course, but it's way more controllable than the standard setup.
Okay, so really, it's only really, well, I'm not going to say really, but so if I used it on the metal cars, I'd feel way more benefit than on the plastic one.
Yeah, right. And the plastic cars, and instead of that, you can use the front wheel setup, for example, which is also very, very stable to drive, especially in race mode. It's really, really easy to handle. And I think I will redesign the arcade modus for the standard cars in future. So this is something we will do.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, thank you
Cool.
very much for that.
You're
Yeah,
welcome,
Martin.
guys.
Super,
was
super.
very
Thank you. We're gonna keep
Um,
on talking about stuff that's more or less related to drifts. If you have the time and if you want to stay, you're welcome to. But yeah,
Sure.
thank you so much for your time so far.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, take care, guys, and stay on drifting. And it's very important for us. So you have to help us to make the UK market
that's
having drifters all over, or everywhere.
that is the intention. That's what
It's true. It's a fact. So we really need the help of our customers. That's the way we
Yeah,
do
of
it in
course.
Germany and in Austria and Switzerland, and hopefully we can do the same in UK.
awesome.
We will see.
Glad to be a part of it.
You
I'm
are
very happy to be a part of it.
already.
Enjoying it
Thank you
massively.
so much.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much for
Martin.
creating the best car
Guys,
we've ever.
have a nice
Thank
day.
Thanks,
Bye
you too.
bye. You.
So we're gonna keep
Ciao.
on talking a little bit about some stuff that I've been making. I think we still have some time, unless you wanna bolt, Jim. Are you
I don't know how long we've been on for. To be
almost
honest,
2 hours, I guess?
got no idea how long we've been on
Yeah,
for. I'm
this is not gonna take a lot of time. It's just to show some stuff that I've been working on lately, which actually it's huh?
your list craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's related to drift. So one of the things with drift is that it's super cool to drive, but I'm
Yeah.
always on my own,
Hmm.
and even more now with this pandemic. I mean, I've created the what do you call um,
The
the thing
internet
that you
comes.
can exactly the internet car that you can drive yourself from your house. You can drive one of these, but I wanted to make traffic. It's been one of the things that we've always talked, even with Tristan. Like, how do we put on traffic on, right?
Yeah.
So
The
I've been
granny
think,
car.
yeah, yeah, we had one already, but it requires a line to be drawn on the track. So I've been
It wasn't.
tinkering a little bit, and so far I've come up with this. Let me see if the camera goes there. So this is, was it a pace car? I don't even know what I'm gonna call this.
That's what it's supposed to be. It's like a pace car,
Yeah,
or the back markers
yeah.
would be a
So
better way. Like a back marker. So when you're in the race and you get to the back end, there's always some slower cars, and
yeah,
it creates traffic.
exactly. So the idea is that I get this car racing around in the track, and then I can race it, or it just used as traffic or whatever. I mean, this one
And
is probably going to be for race.
but it'll be what I like is that it's a bit random, so you don't know where it is.
Yeah,
you'd have
yeah,
to avoid it at different points around the track.
yeah. Or even so the idea is that this is actually like a race car, and it's much faster than this. So I need to find a little bit slower motor. But
Slow.
if I can, it races by itself, so you don't need human interaction. And at the moment, it's just still in the development stages. But the idea is if I can get it to race one lap at a specific time, then I can actually race it.
Speed.
Yes,
Like you're saying if you could get it to do a lap in 10 seconds,
exactly.
then next time you could get it to do a lap in 9 seconds once you beat it.
Exactly. So that will be if I put another car, if I know that this does a lap in 10 seconds and I can do a lap in 10 seconds,
Mm.
then it's gonna really be like, oh, can I actually pass him
Yeah,
during the race?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it will be like an actual race. So what this is basically is a little Arduino here inside, as always use, an ESP8266 that has
Love it.
Wi-Fi on it, and you can see that there's two things here on the doors, and these are distance sensors, so time of flight sensors.
Oh, I thought that was air scoops.
No, not S groups. So the car drives automatically by knowing what the distance is of the walls, and it always tries to go to the middle at this point. But eventually I can just say, hey, you always drive on the left side of the wall, or I can just make it choose by itself. Every now and again, it randomly chooses what side of the wall, or if in the middle, or where else is going to be.
Yeah.
Uh, and basically the sensors on each side, as it approaches the wall, or as if it approaches the other wall from the corner, it makes the car wheels turn opposite of that wall, one side or one side or to the other.
That
Uh,
bright window right behind you isn't helping us see.
there you go.
Yeah. Nice.
You see now,
Yeah, much better.
even better.
Way better.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so there's actually a servo that moves these wheels in the front. This was quite a find because normally these cars have just like some weird gearing to turn on the wheels, which makes the coding for this a lot easier. So
They are quite nice RC cars. Like we don't
yeah,
use them. They come with the Lidl track set,
yeah,
and
but
we've
they
never
drive
used.
like RC cars, unfortunately.
But they are RC cars. Yeah.
Yeah, so there it's not you're not gonna get ever um, the
It won't
type of
drive like
no, you're not
like.
gonna get the type of driving that you get from the drift cars. And actually, I wanted to do a little demo, if I
So
have.
you're measuring either side, and you're
Oh dear.
making it even between the two.
Exactly, and that will force the car to go to the middle. Let me see if I can pry off this battery and put a new one.
Uh-huh. Okay. As so you could, if this works, it would need crash barriers though, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Wherever it's
so
gone.
the way that it works, because it has sensors on the side that detect sides, that means that it needs walls to the side. So at the moment, these sensors aren't working very good, so I can't get a full lap from from my track.
Mm.
But eventually, well, I have two other new sensors that I've ordered already to replace these. That should be a lot better. I'm not going to go into the details of what happens and what not, but basically, it thinks that the wall is not where the wall is supposed to be. But yeah, once I get the servos corrected, that they actually show where the wall is exactly, it could even just use one sensor to one side of the wall to understand where the wall is going to be, and then I can just get three or four of these racing with the drift cars, and that's the idea. And also the idea at some point would be, because as we tried before, racing with with these type of cars through the internet, there's there's a lag associated with it.
Yeah,
So
sure.
what I want to do is kind of have uh, drive assist from the car, and your input is just going to be a little bit. So if these are the walls, your input is going to be limited to a little air cushion from the walls. So
I
you'll
see. So that's running in the background, making sure you don't hit the wall.
exactly. So because and that will mean that the lag won't matter, because even if on a turn, even if you don't do any turning, the car will just carry along
Still, yeah.
along the wall rather than just smacking into it. So your interaction is just going to be going like slightly left to right within the car, which means that lag would be pointless. It wouldn't even matter. You can drive
So
the car as fast as you can.
when you said earlier you could choose from a left lane, a middle, or a right lane,
Exactly. So that's what you're going to be doing.
C driver to do that choice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. But
That's the
I did
idea.
like that's a great next step, but I'm really liking three of them, four of them on a track, and I have to drive past them.
Yeah.
Especially like on my track, on my long track.
Yeah. Especially if they
That
can race, and they can actually race without.
that would be just amazing.
Yeah.
That would be freaking wonderful.
Yeah, so then you have FPV on your car, and you're just like, oh crap, this guy goes so fast. Oh,
In the way.
on the next turn, on the next iteration,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it to slow down a little bit.
Or yeah, but okay, but from my driving point of view is I can't take him on this corner. I've got to wait for a bit. I've
Exactly.
got to
Yeah.
wait, try and accelerate past him on the straight kind of
Yes.
thing. It's really opening it up for me.
Yes.
You're making ghost cars.
Yes. And the interesting thing would be, once you get to the side of it, what's gonna happen? Because it's gonna think there's a wall there, isn't it?
Oh, so it's gonna avoid you.
It's gonna
Yeah,
avoid you a little bit and get always in the center of the wall.
of
Yeah.
that avoidance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
So this, so where you're saying, so what I showed earlier, can I show that mag racing again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, not that one. Where's that easy one to show? No, this one here. All right. So let me show this video again. Um, so this video was kind of what you're talking about,
Let
but
me show
it's
the viewers.
why is it paused? Why is it saying it's paused?
Uh, yeah, I can see what you're seeing now.
Can you see my video?
No, but it says it's paused because you minimize the window. You have to open the window up of whatever you're showing. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Why does it still say paused?
Yeah, I can see now.
I can't see it on the screen.
Yeah, that's fine. I can see it.
So that is they're pretty much just doing the throttle,
Yes.
and the corners are being steered by wires under the road and magnets and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like,
Kind of, but they're just doing the throttle, and they've got a minimal of steering.
yes,
You're saying pretty much the same thing, isn't it?
the
Like
same thing, but this I'm sure requires like a super complex
what the one
setup
on the video.
on the video.
No, the
Yeah,
video. No, it requires a super complex track.
exactly. Like you'd have to lead wire, and if you ever want to change that track, you can't.
No, that's a permanent fixed track.
Exactly.
Because under each corner, there's 2 or 3 embedded wires
Exactly. Yeah.
acting
So
on the car follows.
yeah. So in a solution like this, it doesn't
Yeah,
really
so you're
matter. Like you just put the wall. If you want a different wall, you put a different wall. Doesn't really. It's not gonna.
yeah, you could change the track way a lot easier.
Yes.
Yeah, you could change that a lot easier for sure.
Yes.
So I think your system is like a next step on that.
Yeah, and obviously, so it's interesting that they're driving only with the throttle on that
No,
video
no,
that they're just showing,
they've
because
got
that say what?
they have a steering wheel. They do steer,
But do they need
but
to?
they steer, but it's very weak.
But if you just press the throttle, would the car go anyways,
Yes.
all around the track?
um, may crash when it comes off the corner because between the corners there's no wires.
Between the corners, there's no wires. Okay, so if you put a wire throughout, then the car would just go that
Yeah,
there,
it would
right?
follow the wire.
Yeah.
But
So
when you come out of the corner for the long straight, there's no wire.
yeah, I understand that.
Because the wires are only in the corners.
Hmm.
So you would crash on the straights.
Yeah.
Yeah? Or could crash on the straight.
Yeah, so my system just would work everywhere. I can do a little demo, like it's not working anywhere close to perfectly
No,
or even good.
you don't need to, but
Uh,
um,
yeah, I would like to. Why not?
if you want
Let me just.
to. But like, I want the traffic part of this because on its own it's not much point.
Yeah,
That makes it.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, but if you have 3 or 4 cars, then it becomes um, it becomes a whole different thing, isn't it? Hello?
It is
Oh,
thing.
okay.
It is. Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so let me see if I can go just upstairs to.
just reading Drew's comment there, he's saying you could make modular boards. It's just like big scale electric. Yeah, you could. Um, you probably could make boards, and I don't know how much you could change that around.
Boards for
You know,
what? What do you mean?
the mag racing.
Oh,
In order to, Drew's just saying you could change it by putting it on boards and stuff. But yeah, you could. I'm
yeah,
just
but
not sure how.
then you're gonna drive on the boards? How is that gonna work?
Oh yeah, because it is painted boards, isn't it? You paint the corner on and paint the green, and then you've got it goes to a straight, It's a little bit like Scale Electrics.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem very feasible to construct a different course whenever you want to.
You'd run out of different courses very quickly.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think, back to drift, where you could put two boxes down and have a race course, bro. Like, that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to have anything. Or you could go to full track like we do. Yeah. And go that way around it.
Yeah.
But again, there's nothing technical that you've done there. You've laid out a PVC sheet, thrown some decoration on the top of it. You haven't routed a groove, embedded a wire,
Yeah, exactly.
painted
No,
over.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
basically the stuff that I put here can be easily taken out and put anywhere else.
Mm. Thanks, Andy. We've got a few viewers just saying thanks to Andy. He's saying it's been very interesting, especially the end part. He seems to like your autonomous racing, which
Who
is where
does?
I'm Andy Shrimpton.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so this autonomous part of it, I think, is very, very fun, and for us, where we need something to race against, because I love racing up and down my track. I utterly love it, and I
Yeah,
don't
but you're always
need.
by yourself.
Yeah, I don't need someone, but it would be great if there was someone.
Yeah. So this
You know.
car can already drive more or less like, I don't know if you can see my hands here on the side and
Uh,
my holding my phone. It can already drive like the drift cars by turning the phone around, but obviously it's not gonna drive like the drift
that
cars.
on the live stream, that where you are is cut off on the live stream.
Oh, what about here?
Yeah. So where we can see no where the a bit better
Can you see this
where
car?
the start finish line is where we start. So on the right hand side of the start finish line is where the picture starts on the live stream.
What?
There.
Okay.
Yeah. On the gantry, the gantry you've got over the start line,
Yes.
where the upright of that gantry is, that's where we've been cut off on the live stream.
Really?
And we can only see from there to the left.
Let me just take a look.
Like the live stream is on normal mode and my stream is on wide mode.
Oh, oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
We've
Okay.
been cut off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me just see if I can very
Like
quickly.
the camera's not in wide view.
No, I know what it is. It's cutting a little bit of the of everything. Let me see. So 40.
Mm. So you said
Okay.
earlier, you just before we started the stream,
Yeah.
you said that you actually managed to get three-quarters of a lap. How far did you get?
Not the whole lap, but a little bit more than what I had before.
Okay, so it's a little bit stretched, but that's fine. There you go. That's the whole lap.
Yes.
Great. All right. So
Okay.
now run back upstairs.
Run back upstairs. Let me stretch this out a little bit. Okay. Oops. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
now you should be able to see what I
Yeah,
was
we can
showing.
see that.
All right. I've ran upstairs, ran back upstairs.
Yeah.
So you can see here the car on the track,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the phone in my hand. And when I'm turning the phone around, you might be able to see the wheels turning
So
left
you're
and right there.
steering with the phone
Yeah.
and driving technically with the phone, but you've got this additional
Yes.
side
So
button.
exactly. So I have this red symbol here that when I press it, the wheels will automatically turn left and right
So,
based on the sensors. And the only thing that I'm doing is then I'm controlling the speed that the car goes, which right
okay,
now
so
is at super light speed.
all right, but so you don't need to do the steering; it
No.
will do the steering for you. You're just going to press throttle.
Yes. So pressing one button and throttle, and you can see the car doing that whole turn. So this is where it gets a bit stupid, and it's because of the sensors not reading it correctly. But
And we think it's a bad sensor issue, not a bad sensor, a bad type of sensor.
yeah, so
In that,
it doesn't read this wall correctly, basically, is what it is.
so that sensor is like a 2 centimeters of 20, whatever it is. But when it goes over 20,
Yeah,
instead of
it goes a bit
saying
stupid.
over, it just returns a random number, which is very unhelpful.
Exactly, yeah. But you can see like it managed to go from this side all the way to the other side just by pressing forward. So
Yeah, at all for
no,
that
no, didn't steer
last.
at all. No, it's just basically I can do it again. I can reconnect it again. It's basically I press the auto turning, and then I pressed forward, and
Yeah,
it went where it went. Let's see if I can connect
pretty
again.
amazing.
Okay. Oh, all right. So I'll do it again.
Okay.
Press
You're having
on
a few
the
net
auto
problems as well
steering,
because
and then
parts of the
forward.
picture are somewhat. Not sure what that is about.
There you go. And it always hits on the same spot as well, which is good because we kind of want reproducibility. We want it to be always the same thing. So if it did different things, that would mean that,
That means it's even more random.
yeah.
So what you're saying is that it's got a certain amount of random,
Uh,
or
no, no,
an
no.
issue
Like
that.
it's doing. If you were able to see that, it did the exact same thing that it
Yep,
did on the
exactly the
first time. It hit exactly on the same place, which is good. So that just means that the sensor fails always on the same place, and it has it's reproducible, right? And something that's reproducible is normally fixable.
Mm, okay. Welcome, Matt. Matt just joined us a little bit late to the show.
A little bit late.
A little bit late, but you can always rewind. We had Martin Mueller on earlier on. I think you might want to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah.
So when we finish, you can rewind and catch it all again.
He was
So it's not a
joking
problem.
yesterday that, oh, did I miss it? And I was like, no, don't worry, it's tomorrow. And today he actually missed it.
You
Funny.
actually missed it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So great progression on there. Have you done anything about the tanks?
About the tanks? Well, the tanks are working.
Yeah, they're working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why?
No, I'm just wondering.
Do
I
you want to
just,
fight?
I thought you. No, no, I don't want to fight now. I don't want to fight now. But like that was real fun.
Yeah, the tanks are done. Like anyone that wants to challenge me, just contact me through on Facebook, and we can set up a little battle.
Drew's saying it's probably just the positioning of the sensor. It could be the positioning of the sensor,
No, it's
but
not.
we're thinking maybe it's very low to the ground. It's not helping us.
Yeah, but
And if we go
yeah,
higher, we're going to be over the side walls
yeah,
of the track. Um, I think it's not the positioning. I think it's what happens when the sensor gets to its maximum or
yeah.
beyond its maximum. It's not returning
The correct value.
a value. It should return the same value every time it goes over the maximum. It should
Exactly.
just
Yep. Yeah.
yeah.
But the problem that is happening is that it's not returning the maximum value either. It's just returning like
A
past a certain point. It's just returning that value, and that's it.
a random value, not even a usable value. Because
Yeah.
if it was the same every time,
Yeah,
you'd
that'll
say,
be
"Oh,
fine. Yeah.
max."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just think we may need to look at a different sensor altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. I already have it on the way, and I've tested one of the other sensors, and it works. It works pretty well. So I, yeah, I think they'll be fine.
It's not where it is on the car. It's what it's actually return the data it's giving us back.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that so there's an interesting thing, which is what happens if the car gets turned around?
Well, you're just going to drive the other way.
No, no, like
It
turn
does.
a wall into a wall. Like if it's front into a
If it
wall, then it's not going to know it needs to go left or right.
if it's nose into a wall.
Yeah. So in the future, maybe I'll add another sensor that just detects, oh, if there's something right in front of me, go backwards.
Well, I was thinking, what happens if I hit it?
Yeah.
Let's say we're driving and I hit it and I pit maneuver it.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 It doesn't know it's been pit maneuvered, and now it's going to drive the opposite direction of traffic.
Oh, yeah. There's no
Yeah,
way
round.
to. Yeah. There's no way of knowing that either.
You won't know, will it?
No. So there's some limitations, but
No, that's fine. That's because that's just more interesting danger. You could end up with a pile-up, and you'd have to, you know what I mean? Because that
Yeah.
one would then hit another one going the other way. Because imagine when you've got 3, 4 of them on there, they're all doing their own path. Yeah.
No. The objective is. I mean, I'll have to test this obviously by.
I wonder if one of them would ever overtake another one. Like,
Yeah. Why not?
would it overtake you?
Yeah.
If it was fast, if its motor was going faster, it would have to, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but interesting.
Yeah,
How you
and I
do
guess
that?
that comes in the randomness of the program. So if the randomness tells the program that these two cars are going to be in a specific side of the track, right?
Yeah,
That means that
yeah.
if one is faster, it's going to overtake it, and as soon as it goes here, it's going to go,
Because they're going to try and widen for each other,
yeah, widen for each other and then go past it, right?
and then both get back in line.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, they'll
Or in
get
line,
back in.
or to whatever the specific line that
Won't
they
they
have to go.
try and do middle again? So once he's past it,
No, it might not.
yeah,
It might be that the randomness tells the program that, you
you
know,
keep it there.
exactly,
Yeah,
not like you have to drive on this side of the wall. So if the other
yeah.
car has the same thing, it's just gonna like bang you on the back, like get out of the way until it actually
I,
moves or something.
we can make an underside sensor that tells the car that it's going the wrong way. You'd have to have
Sure, you
something
can
on
make
the.
one, Drew. Go right ahead.
You'd have to have something on the track as well, then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no,
For it to
pass.
pass.
Yeah,
I like the danger. I'm going to leave it with as it is with danger. Danger.
danger.
I really want this traffic.
Yeah,
I need.
I think. Well, at the moment, if I was to slightly cheat by programming a certain thing that happens at a certain time, the car will be able to do the track by itself, right?
That would be a hard set of timing to
No,
do,
it's
wouldn't
just
it?
like if it's within this time and this time, and you're going right, don't go right, go left, so you don't hit that wall and you keep going. I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure it's possible. Like did you see what happened? Like the exact same thing, the car hit exactly the same way in the exact same wall as it did on the first run. That wasn't
I don't see.
coincidence. That's because of the parameters that the car has makes it do that.
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't do exactly the same. If it didn't, then we've got other problems.
Hmm.
Yeah. If it didn't do the same,
Hmm.
I think it should do the same because it's just running through code, and where you've started it, it's still centering. I'm not surprised by it doing the same thing.
Now it's just a matter of making the code a bit more optimized so it avoids this type of things. I think the problem is that like when we're talking to Martin, there's a lot of maths to get this going, like a lot of maths, and it's not easy at all
It's
to
formula.
do this.
It's about this one being bigger than that one according to the third one.
Exactly, yes, and
Yeah?
that's more complicated than I would like.
It is very formula
I have to
driven.
sometimes I have to like get a piece of paper and start writing numbers down just to understand like what's gonna happen if this changes or if that changes.
Well, I
Like
guess before you can tell the Arduino what to do, you have to have an idea of what you want it to do
exactly, yeah. It can
in
just
every
be
step, not just the big
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
You need, yeah, you need every step of it. What happens at each clock tick,
yeah,
even. Yeah, like it's a great little avenue, and I see it as an accessory. I don't see it as unit, a toy on its own.
No, of course, it's an accessory for the track.
Yeah.
Because again, I like driving this. This is very realistic, right? The drift cars.
Ah, so
But
realistic.
sometimes it's like you're just driving by yourself, and there's
Yeah, that's
no
what
there's no
mine does.
randomness to it. It's always the same thing over and over and over. You need stuff that what's the stuff that can change in the track,
Yeah, where's the
right?
random element,
And
which
some
is
people are like,
another.
oh, change the make something that opens up a gate to change the track. I'm sorry, I don't. I know some people like it, but I don't like that too much because I know the track has to be the track. Why would in real world
Yeah, well,
the
look,
track wouldn't just open gates and like, oh, now you have to go this way. That's like Mario Kart or something like that.
yes, but like even now, oh, what happened to my picture?
It's back.
Even now, like when I show, look at this, my little track here.
Mm.
I'm going to change my camera to show you my little track. This little track,
Yeah,
I've got lots of different options on that.
yeah,
It's not just a figure eight because I could do oval on that, go round the outside and all the rest of it. But
yeah,
I still want. It's not random enough in a way.
yeah,
It's still not random enough.
yeah,
That allowing me to go different directions is not. I want interaction. I want you or Tristan or someone else to be in my way, to be chasing you down.
exactly, yeah. And if I can get like this autonomous car a little bit smarter, but also allow someone else to control, at least it will be a bit more. You don't even have to know about drift to. So I'm gonna get the pleasure of it because I'm driving drift
No, I like
behind the
that.
car,
Look,
and the
you
person controlling it is gonna get the pleasure of it because it's just racing, right? So it's the competitiveness of it.
you've overcome the lag issue
Yeah,
with the buffer issue,
yeah,
with the buffer feature. Do you know what I mean? Where I can you that is live on site, you could hit a wall, but the internet person is buffered from that wall,
yeah,
and that buffer is what's negating the lag issue that we live with.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
some one thing that or something that can beat me in a race
Hmm.
is
But not need any special setup. Like
yeah,
Clue's there, he's talking about Anki Overdrive. Now I've had Anki Overdrive,
yeah,
and that needs a very special track and all that,
yeah,
and
exactly.
it's not really where we are.
Yeah.
Um, what you're talking about and what you're proposing is beyond having the walls of the track, which you're going to have anyway.
Yeah,
Um, you don't need any setup. There's nothing extra.
yeah,
There's no
exactly. Yeah,
sensors or anything
like
like that.
anyone, regardless of skill, can um,
Like
can join
to,
in and race.
yeah, and to a degree, you could either have one like those German guys. There's a load of German guys, NWS, I think one of them is,
Mm,
and they race drift cars around the track. But you could send them one of these cars, and it would race around their track, but we control it from here.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
any other system, you wouldn't be able to do that.
No, you
If
could.
we
Yeah.
start insisting that you need this sensor or this detector or this,
Yeah, and you have to put all of this stuff around your room so it can look at the cars and infrareds and stuff. And then you have
can't
to
be
map your track on 3D CADs and import it
right.
to the.
Yeah,
No.
you're cutting it to the bare bones, as it were.
Yeah.
All you need to know going around that track is to not hit the not hit the wall.
Yeah.
Go around that track as fast as you can and not hit the wall,
Yeah.
which is pretty much what the players are trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And obviously, I
but
can integrate stuff like realistic, more realistic, like not
curves, you mean?
yeah, yeah, but not only that, but the throttle. So instead of like on or off, which is basically what it
Yeah.
is now, you can actually speed up and um, yeah, I can add different things that make your experience a little bit more realistic.
Something you said earlier was you press the button to throttle.
No,
So
no,
you haven't
no, no. I
pulled.
press a button for auto steering, and then I
Okay.
control the throttle.
And you've still got throttle control.
Yeah.
So the minimum throttle with that current gearbox motor setup is
Yeah.
still too fast.
Uh, sometimes no. It depends. Like I haven't cracked that part yet. I think I need a new motor for this to work a little bit better.
That bugger out, find out, let's see what it is, and we'll get a slower version of that motor
Yeah.
then. Because they drive too fast anyway. These RC cars are just too fast in the first place.
Yeah. You don't need that. You need
Yeah.
something with lower end torque,
Mm.
and that's it. And it doesn't have to be like super crazy. It just low end torque is the only one thing that you need.
We can find those, mate. We can find that. Drew says, I was just thinking about Jamal having something race against by himself. Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
I want. That's what I'm making these.
Mm.
I want to have.
He's referring to the Anki. Yes, you can race against, but it's such a awful, awful
But the problem
experience.
with the Yankees is that you have to set up a track for it,
And the track is incredibly boring,
and it's just
and
that track, and that's it.
and so many other problems. Like, oh, I just don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like
I
it.
would like. I want something that is
So
able to go anywhere.
can you add a resistor, fat resistor to the motor, like Drew says there? That will dissipate a lot of energy out, and it will slow the bugger right down.
Uh, no, because how
You,
would it?
you, huh?
What? How?
In line, take the wire off, put it on the resistor, and stick it back onto the motor. And then the resistor is using the energy that you're sending to the motor.
But how would that? The motor would still not turn. The problem is that these motors need to spin super fast for it to work. So if you're limiting the current to the motor, uh,
Are they geared up a lot?
I do what?
How? What do you mean? They're geared up. They've got loads. Is there a big old gear train inside there?
No, I think it's just a motor and then a little gear that turns whatever.
To the wheel.
Possibly, I don't know.
You're gonna make me get one out now. Let me have a look. Because I've not even looked at them. I
You
reckon
can't
I've got
see.
one
You
in.
have to disassemble like tons of stuff just to see it.
Yep, there's a gearbox in there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. That actually doesn't even look like a big motor.
No, it's a tiny motor, but it's not. It's not a tiny whoop motor.
Why on earth did they bother putting this stupid spring suspension in this thing? Like it hasn't even got suspension,
No.
and it's. Why would you bother? It's not even suspension. They're nicely heavy. That's about all. That's about all. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've had enough.
Yeah. It's been a good show. We had Martin on.
We've had Martin on. We've had some great answers today. That was very informative.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
Um, and very encouraging. It's encouraging to hear that he likes the FPV,
Mhm.
and it's not going against the ethos or anything.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's encouraging to hear that he appreciates that it needs to be in English,
Yeah.
uh, and that they're going to start doing English stuff and English streams and stuff. Um, and what you was talking about with, I like the idea of other companies being able to make accessories.
Mm.
So if they've got that in their plan,
Yeah.
that they're going to let us Bluetooth to the app,
Hopefully.
we do away with a lot of the ad hoc stuff that we've done. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. That
Yeah?
would
And
open
then
out a lot more stuff.
we would then need to find a company and convince them to make a Bluetooth steering wheel. Yeah.
It shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be. It's a couple of what do you call them?
Potentiometers.
Potentiometers. That's it. Attached to
Yeah.
plastic.
I would really, really like force feedback. I would love
That's a
to
lot more
know.
complicated.
Well, no, it's just data back out of the sim. and a motor on the steering wheel. But what's happening to me is I know I'm going into a drift, but because my steering wheel, so I go into a drift, I turn right to flick it into the to the thing, and the car's back end comes out. But in a real car, my steering wheel would want to turn back by itself,
Yeah.
and that's not happening because I'm not powered. My steering wheel's not. It just stays wherever it
But
is.
I think that's because you don't have a spring on your steering wheel. With a spring, it works a lot better.
It's false feedback because the spring would only ever center me. The
Yeah.
spring is just resisting to center, but because I'm drifting, it should be going back, and I'm losing that bit of feeling.
I think you're overthinking.
And what I'm too far, and I have to yank it back because it's too far. I should have already been turned by this time.
Yeah, I don't think. From what Martin was saying, even the development of the of something that allows you to connect to Bluetooth is way off for now. It's not like we're gonna get it next week or anything like that.
Yes,
It's good
not
to see
next,
that they're thinking about these things.
not next week, but it is on their list.
Yeah, their roadmap.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It is
but
on the
it
list.
doesn't seem that because they're a small company, and they're a
Mm,
startup company as well. They don't
mm.
really have like, oh, we're definitely gonna release this on this date. So it's basically whenever they want to release it.
He said it to you blatantly. I have to justify the time and effort
Yeah, of course.
for that idea,
Yeah,
kind of thing. And is that the one I want to do, or do I want to do this other one?
yeah,
And he has to make that decision, and he ain't do. I can't argue with his business sense at the moment. He's doing pretty well.
yeah,
He's making the right decisions at the right time. It seems.
yeah.
Um,
Just that
and
he has more customers than he
that's
can
what
support, I guess, or
I
potential customers that would
agree
like in
with
the
him.
US and other places.
English. They're not native English speaking. His English is phenomenal. It's very good,
Yeah, yeah,
but he's
perfect.
native. I think when they realised that there was an amount of information that sale that needs to happen
Yeah,
for people to see the difference and understand why it's different, they wanted to do that in their own language to
yeah,
know what to say.
yeah,
Like you learn your patter,
yeah,
yeah. So him pulling back to Germany and Austria and Switzerland because they all speak German
yeah,
was a pretty sensible decision.
yeah,
Yeah, I think now he's at the point where you kind of saturated Germany. You need to get out to the rest of the world in a way, and
yeah.
we're doing some of that, what
Yeah,
we're doing.
it would be much harder for him to supply this the amount of people that would like it in all the other countries. You, how would he be able to do it? It would be
Well, look at how
pretty
hard it
complicated.
was. Like, when we launched the metal and the demand for the metal
Yeah,
bodies. Yeah, that was massive challenge,
yeah,
and that was only a little European release.
yeah, yeah.
You know. Sorry, I just read a comment by Dean Drew. Um, the gyro in the car wouldn't need to because the simulator knows where the wheel is for the opposite lock. So the simulator sending the false feedback info doesn't have to come from the car. The car is a display. Car is not. We don't need physics from the car. If any physics we need from the car, I would say if we had like a shock thing, so it knew that it got hit. If it knew that it either got hit or it hit the wall,
Yeah,
it would do this. Because if you, there's another problem is when we're driving two cars and I touch you,
yeah,
yeah, you might put a vacuum between the two.
yeah.
If it knew that it got hit, it could
I don't think
pin.
that's very hard to change, and it will be something that's in the app if you really want to change it.
Magnetometer or an
No,
acceler.
you don't need anything like that because you can read the voltage that's being drawn,
Yeah,
and if you're
and that
stuck
would.
into a wall, you probably know that you're stuck into a wall. Definitely, because I've noticed that on the FPV, when I'm driving FPV and I hit the wall, I see the voltage is going like wah, like crazy. So if you notice that voltage drop.
I've never no, I don't see the dashboard, so I can't say. But
No,
I will
because
watch.
you don't have the voltage anyways on your
Yeah, your
car.
battery, your fuel gauge.
No, no, no. I'm talking about the. I can see the voltage in the FPV, and that gets drained a lot.
Oh, because you've got OSD
Yes.
on your camera,
Yeah.
and you're running off of the car's battery or your
Yes.
second battery.
No, the car's battery.
Uh,
So when I get stuck in a wall, I definitely see the voltage dropping like crazy because obviously it's trying to force the motors to run and they're getting stuck, right? So they would spend more voltage spinning, isn't
Probably
it?
more current. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you could very easily see what not the exact point where you hit the wall, but you could definitely see a few seconds later or moments later, milliseconds later, that you are stuck in a wall. And then you could just rotate the car to the opposite position that you were turning. No? Maybe.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know. I
And I
can't tell
think
you.
Martin said like if you spin the wheels forward, it wouldn't get you off the wall, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, no, no. If you hit the wall, because I said this to you before, if you hit the wall, steer momentarily into the wall, and then you can steer away from the wall. But not sharp steering by any means. Just a little bit into the wall.
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you just get stuck and you're stuck in. That's it.
It just gets completely, and it gets stuck trying to reverse, and it gets, I can't,
Yeah,
and
but
every,
it would be interesting to it would be interesting to pick up the car then and see where the crown wheels are.
I have done that, and the wheels are pointing towards the wall,
Because if it's pointed towards the wall, reverse should work.
and it doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So what I'm trying to
Maybe
say, it's just
oh, but
it's
it
off.
doesn't work because you're just using the reverse button, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you don't have enough power to drag you off.
Well, again, what Martin was saying is, in order for it to drag you off, what's actually going to happen is the front would turn towards the wall then, and now you're dragging the front into the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there must be some clever way of.
It might be a solution. Just don't hit the wall. Drive more. Yeah. Try, what is it? Practice more, drive better.
Yeah,
Okay. Practice more, drive better. That's the only thing.
that's the only thing. All right.
That's the only.
Well, I think we are done for today. Hope everyone enjoyed watching the stream.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? You're
I'm
sharing
putting on
something?
my little. I'm sharing my race.
Oh,
Sharing me driving.
lovely.
Can you show it? So we can finish on that.
Go on.
Let's finish on me not hitting
You
the
need
wall.
to not minimize whatever you're showing.
No, it's big. It's full screen.
There we go. Yeah, it's good now. So yes, so that's been
Been a really good chat.
yeah, myself, Don Junkie, and Martin Mueller, the creator of Drift. Thank you again,
Um,
Martin, for joining us and spending like an hour and a half of us badgering you with questions. But yeah, it's interesting to know, like from the creator itself, what are the values, where where he came from, and when he's meant to go as well.
Well, it's very interesting to hear that he was into RC, even worked in
Yeah,
the industry, came out of the industry, and his hobby, passion,
yeah,
brought him back into the industry.
yeah,
Isn't it? That's quite an interesting, like, where he's got out and back in again. He's pulled him right back in. But there's a lot to say about drawing the people in as a team
mm,
to do the things that you can't do, kind of thing.
yeah,
He successfully done that.
yeah,
Yeah, he's drawn that team. However, he's managed to get the right people for us. It really has worked out very well. Yeah, I can't overemphasize how impressed I am. Like, did you just see it there where I hit the wall?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you see it there where I hit the wall, it's coming up right now. What happened? I hit the wall, and then when I turned into the wall, Yeah, you should have noticed that, and then it released me. Did you notice
Yeah.
it?
Yes, I saw
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Sometimes sometimes
And
it
it will.
works.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Some sometimes.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, hopefully.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much for the people that have managed to, stick with us this long. It's quite a long show. I'm not sure how long we
Yeah.
are on today.
We had some difficulties as well. The chat wasn't showing for some reason, so I had to
Yes.
take it out.
Not quite.
Yeah. But we were looking at the chat anyways from Facebook.
Yeah, we were trying to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
So thanks again, and we'll see you guys